All right, so you've just brought this tiny human home from the hospital. And boom, suddenly you feel like a total rookie, right? But here's a thought. What if I told you that this little person actually came with their own instruction manual, one they kind of wrote themselves? And today, we're going to unpack it.
It really all starts here. The manual opens with this simple, direct message from your new boss. It breaks their entire world down into just 3 core functions. See? Maybe it's not quite as complicated as it feels right now.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start by decoding your baby's language. Then we'll dive into the nitty-gritty, the input/output loop of feeding and diapers. We'll cover some health basics, figure out how to soothe those cries, and then get to the most important part, trusting yourself.
Okay, first things first. We have to learn the language. And you can forget everything you know about words. For the next few months, it is all about interpreting a very specific and very loud form of expression.
So what's rule number 1 in this manual? Every single cry is a message. It could mean I'm hungry, or I'm a little uncomfortable, or even just, hey, I need a cuddle. It might feel like you're trying to decipher a secret code right now, but trust me, you're going to become a fluent translator way faster than you think.
All right, next up is the baby's core operating system. Let's call it the input/output loop. It's this simple, continuous cycle of taking in fuel and, getting rid of the byproducts. The manual is pretty clear that if you master this loop, you've already won half the battle. And this is the first big question you face when you're managing the input side of things. The manual actually tackles this one head-on, so let's see what it has to say. Look, the manual calls breast milk the natural, ideal food. But, and this is a really big but, it's also incredibly reassuring. It says, point blank, that if breastfeeding isn't an option for any reason, formula is a great alternative. Choosing formula does not, I repeat, does not make you a worse parent. A fed baby is a happy baby, period.
Now, whichever way you go, you're going to need some gear. But the manual points out something really interesting. The brand of bottle you buy is way less important than how you use it. The real key here is getting a good, comfortable posture for the baby, so they have a calm feeding experience and don't swallow a bunch of air.
So after the input, you've got to deal with the air. And the manual has a little fun with this part, calling it burping like a trucker. You've got 2 main techniques, the classic over-the-shoulder or, for a different approach, sitting the baby on your lap and patting their back. Both work great.
Okay, we've handled the input. Time for the output. Let's be real. Diaper changing is about to become a huge part of your life. But it's not just about the cleanup. It's absolutely critical for keeping your baby's skin healthy and happy.
The manual actually breaks this down into an art form that you are going to perfect, I promise. But what's the key? It's all in step 1, preparation. Getting everything you need within arm's reach before you even start. That's the secret to a smooth, quick change. Oh, and definitely don't skip step 4. That protective cream is your best friend in the fight against diaper rash.
So beyond that daily in and out cycle, there are a few other key maintenance routines to keep this little machine running smoothly. Let's talk about bath time, and the one thing that freaks out every new parent, fevers.
Yeah, that feeling when you touch a hot little forehead, it can send a jolt of panic through anyone. The manual knows this, so it asks the question right from the baby's point of view.
And I love this part because the manual totally reframes what a fever even is. It's not the enemy. You got to think of it more like an alarm bell, a signal that your baby's internal defense systems are powered on and fighting something. It's a sign their immune system is doing its job.
So what do you do when that alarm goes off? The manual gives you a simple plan that's all about comfort, like taking off extra clothes or giving a lukewarm bath. But the most important instruction here is the last one. When in doubt, always call your pediatrician. They are your ultimate support line.
Bath time can be so much more than just getting clean. The manual frames it as a relaxing daily ritual. And you've probably guessed the key by now, preparation. But the real pro tip here? Pay extra close attention when you're drying. All those adorable little skin folds can trap moisture, so a careful pat down is what prevents irritation.
Okay. This is a big one. We know that crying is communication. But what happens when you've checked all the boxes? Fed, burped, changed, and the crying just keeps going?
It's time to open up the parent's toolbox for soothing.
And wow, what a toolbox it is. This isn't about finding one magic trick that works every time. It's about having options. The whole idea is to recreate the comfort of the womb. Think closeness, rhythmic sounds, gentle motion. The manual suggests a pacifier as a last resort, but hey, it's still a totally valid tool to have in your kit.
Now, wait a minute. We need to do a critical pivot here. We have spent all this time focused on the baby, on their needs, but then the manual delivers this piece of wisdom, and honestly, this might be the most vital instruction of all.
This isn't being selfish. It's essential. The manual's most surprising advice might be this: let the housework go and ask for help. It really hammers home that your well-being isn't some kind of luxury. It's the actual foundation for your baby's care. And here we are, the final chapter. We've gone through all the technical specs and the operating procedures. Now it's time to graduate from being a rookie to becoming an expert by learning to trust the most powerful tool you have, your own instincts.
This is the ultimate reassurance. Look, guides and manuals are helpful, but nothing, and I mean nothing, replaces the bond that you build. Just through sheer time and attention, you become the world's leading expert on one very specific subject, your baby.
And that's really what this all boils down to. This whole journey is about practice and common sense. You will learn the difference between a hungry cry and a tired cry. You're going to develop an intuition that no book can ever teach you. You've totally got this.
So we'll leave you with this final question, straight from the manual. Now that you have the instructions, what's the first thing you're going to do to start listening to that inner voice, the one that already knows what your baby needs?